And welcome back, everyone, to Canadian Esports Nationals Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Rare Adam alongside Fundy coming back at you with our second series of the night, and right into it we go. University of Toronto versus St. Clair College, and already University of Toronto getting out to an early lead here on this hard point. Of note, this is Albagra Fortress, so a little bit of a different map that we didn't get to see in that first series. We're going to be possibly seeing it 3 times in this one.
Possibly if we go all the way to map 5, although recently COD series have not been going to map 5 too often, and that's just really the nature of COD itself. When one team gets a lead, it's very easy to keep that momentum going, especially in a game like this where when you are on point, when your shots are on point, the kills just seem to come flooding to you. But Saints able to grab back a little bit of scrap time on this point after University of Toronto takes a good chunk of it at the starting there, but I think it's only going to be a few points down in the end.
Yeah, Huzzy already off to a roaring start here, and Sam just sort of tasked with sitting on that objective. He is the point man at that, but yeah, Huzzy 5-0 to start this one out. Already you can see the difference in sort of level as well coming through from University of Toronto. This is keep in mind, this is University of Toronto is a huge school. You're going to have some really good players in there, whether it be from just, playing back on the PlayStation days or whatever, or if, they're played other games, CSGO and the like. So you're always going to find some really strong players at these bigger schools, but as you can see, St. Clair really having to put a little bit more of that push towards them here. This is the first time that we've really seen even the Saints varsity team struggle a little bit to get off the ground here.
Yeah, they are grabbing points for themselves, don't get me wrong, but I mean, you're seeing University of Toronto is able to just throw Sam on this point here. He's going to be racking up almost all of the objective time for the team, as it's Tweak and Huzzy's job to just run around this map and start wreaking havoc. Bendy able to trade a couple kills back, but we see Brandon in this game not off to too hot of a start, starting off 0-5. Gonna be, sometimes you're just cold after a long break like that, and coming into here, keep in mind, this is essentially the winner's final, so it's gonna be coming down to whoever wins this series to move on to that next set of play, that next main bracket, essentially moving out of the groups. But either way, if Saints do end up losing this, we will not be seeing the third match today. That will be moved later on into the week, but Saints still having a rough start. Brandon Priestley, Relaz, all just being wiped out in a row. Tweak with that SMG in his hand is an absolute monster right now, and Priestley can't really grab too much map control and even push forward. He's able to find one, might be able to push a little bit into that museum area there, but you're just going to have to keep playing this door, keep playing these angles, even though he should be on the attack right now, right? You should be trying to grab some points, but as the hard point fades, it's going to be Saints to get set up on that next one there and start grabbing some points, because you're 60+ points behind now.
Yeah, you got to really pick up the pace at that ammunition storage there. Yeah, it's just been really difficult because every single time they turn around a corner, there is, 2 members of UTS on the other side, or UT there on the opposite side. They're looking to try and take advantage of these plays. Nonetheless, Priestley doing a valiant effort, sort of holding this point for the time being, doing a really good job of sort of being that veteran presence, being there saying, listen guys, we still got a lot of map to play here. Let's make sure that we come back here. And a lot of progress being made on this point, almost the entire point going the way of the Saints. Great turnaround there, and suddenly you can see that momentum start to shift back into their favor. If they can 60 point this point specifically, they're going to be right back into this map.
Yeah, honestly. And keeping this point in hand for so long, 15 seconds left, they're finally gonna drop it, but look how close those scores have become. Brandon able to get on in the end, or Laz clearing out a few, giving Brandon this time for the rest. And now, U of T, they've decided we're moving on to the next, but the one player rotating there will be taken down by Brandon. Brandon not seeing that player as he drops out of the window. He's gonna fall as well, and the kills back and forth, but it looks like it's going to be U of T to grab that initial point on this hard point, and now they've got the control they've been looking for. They've found the triple kill. They're close to that team wipe, but Bendy going to stop them in their tracks. One player still on the site here. There's a well-placed Semtex from Bendy to clean it out. Now, supposedly, a control could be flipping right now, but it looks like it's
Yeah, at the very least, though, that last point that Saints were able to pick up really brings them a little bit closer. But as you can see, it seems as if this point specifically here, the Blacksmith point, I think it's called, very difficult for the Saints to get in on here. This control being held by the side of U of T is just immense at this point. Kaneki now getting in on the plays as well, but my goodness. Looking at the weapons as well, a couple of switch-ups coming through as well here from some of these players.
Yeah, the FSS Hurricane was in the hands of, I believe it was Bendy there, or Relaz, I think. One of them is using that one, and the Hurricane is an interesting weapon. I remember personally in the beta, that thing was an absolute monster. I think it's been toned down a little bit more. Players have kind of found a few better weapons, but being on that M4 platform, it's still going to have access to so many attachments that these rifles can, and it's kind of a very good middle ground between a rifle and an SMG, even though it is categorized as an SMG itself. There's a streak to come through, clear out the site. Brandon able to grab a few points there, and the Saints are not too far behind anymore. They've been able to kind of claw back at this one, but U of T, they're just finding little advantages on every site. And what a team wipe from the Saints. Only Kaneki left to be able to get into this one. Trophy System kind of spotting himself out there, but he is still able to pick up that kill. And Kaneki finally going to fall, but nobody on at this point. Everyone playing towards this.
Yeah, it's just over towards the gallows here, I suppose. It's going to be, once again, Toronto with the early touches down here, but nonetheless, St. Clair, they're doing a good job. I think they've started to get the rhythm a little bit more. It's just more so the early game that really is coming back to haunt them a little bit here. The Saints keeping U of T off the point for the most part, but not really getting much on the point themselves here. Great turn around the corner there from Brandon there. Going to be hopping forward, looking for a little bit more damage here, and is able to find a second one for themselves, and finally the Saints able to start to make some progress on this point here. If they can get a solid 20-30 points on this point specifically, they're going to be starting to get closer to tying it up here. Once it comes down to, a 20 to 10 point gap there in between there, it's going to be a lot easier to sort of just toss the game up and say, you know what, we just need one good push. We just need an extra kill in these fights, and we'll be good to go, and that's exactly what's happening. Cut the deficit down to 20 and counting.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we want to see from a winner's side game here. Both teams back and forth, battling it out on these hard points. At this point, I could not tell you who's going to win this game, because Saints, while being behind for a little bit, they've really started to get their momentum back here, and just about to even out the score is the Saints. 150 is the tick there, and now taking the lead for the first time in this game. Last player on the point, Relaz, is going to fall. I caster cursed it indeed, but it's Bendy holding down this angle. Thought he was in the clear, but Kaneki is able to clean that one out, and now it looked like there was actually 3 players down from both teams there for a second there. Literally no action to be had on the point, and now we're at a stalemate. Both of these teams clawing for points at the end of this one. Relaz, there's that combat knife to come out and give so much movement speed, rotating onto the point very easily, and kind of just setting up on that statue as the rest of the Saints can kind of move towards this next point to come.
Yeah, and this is where it really comes down to it. You need to win your ones at that. You want to try and hold down as much control over the next point as possible. But even then, you see already on site here. A couple kills going back the opposite way. Samparmar and Kaneki going to have to try and hold the line for themselves until they get a couple of respawns. But Relaz getting a 5 streak now. Looking to pick up a couple more here. And finally, the Saints able to get a little bit more of that momentum. But still, it is so damn close here already. Look at this. It's a 2-point difference here. And no one's on the point right now. This could be one of those rare instances where hardpoint goes to time.
It could indeed. You see, the timer stops when somebody's tapping it, but when it is a free point, that timer is going to be ticking down, and we rarely see it to get to 2 minutes to begin with. Saints clawing back, keeping this one even for themselves, but neither of these teams are giving an inch. Relaz tries to get on that aggression there in the corner, unable to clean up that kill. It's going to have to be Brandon and Bendy to pick up a little bit of that slack for him, but either way, no kill is going untraded unless it happens to end up being a double kill from just holding an angle. Neither of these teams giving an inch. Saints now 15 points up as the new hard point spawns, but this hard point, the last time we saw it was U of T's way of grabbing way more points back for themselves. We rarely got to see Saints get on the aggressive and start collecting points on this one, and already U of T back, back to just controlling this hard point.
Yeah, and they take the lead back once again. You know, it's starting to get closer down to the wire here. We're, 80% of the way to getting someone with a victory here, but nonetheless, a great resistance put up by the side of the Saints. They're finally able to push back forward. It's almost a team kill coming through, basically at that, because Sam Palmer just spawning as Kaneki falls. This is a decent amount of momentum going back in favor of the Saints here. If they can hold this point for another 15 seconds, the longer the game goes on, the further on you get, these smaller advantages end up meaning so much more because you just need a little bit more to push across the line here. Granted, Priestley going to fall down as well, and we are going to be deadlocked here at 200, effectively going into the next hard point here. As you mentioned, down below 2 minutes as well. My goodness, this one's going down to the line on hard point.
I mean, we haven't seen a hard point game this close since, I believe, one of the COD Academy games that
like
we
a
actually
7-point win,
went
right?
to, like, yeah, I went to like 243, 250, something along those lines, and we are right back in it here at Canadian Esports Nationals. Both of these teams trying their darndest to make it out of this group here in the winner's side. Bendy going on a bit of a killing spree there, but going to be taken down in the end. But you see, it was the Saints actually on that hard point for most of that time, able to grab a nice little lead for themselves. And when it's this down to the wire, every point is so impactful. Saints able to grab 2 more before being contested. Bendy can't shoot that one out in the end. We're back to U of T control.
And it's going to be another cruise missile landing there from Relaz, picking up Huzzy. I believe that was. But look at this. It's just garbage time they're picking up on this point now. It really comes down to this next one. Saints need 20 seconds on that point to be able to secure the game for themselves. U of T still need 45. They're still a little bit further away, but that is starting to dwindle here at this point. As we mentioned, it comes down to the wire. These small advantages have become so much more impactful. 10 points remaining here for the Saints. It seems as if they've got a lot of control here. This is the last push here coming through from U of T. They need to touch on this point. They need to try and get anything going for themselves, but it seems as if they will just fall short here. There we go. As a brief touch there almost stalls it out. And U of T, giving St. Clair a little bit of a wake-up call there. We mentioned it in the first series that there were a couple of missteps coming through, but overall a clean performance coming through from the Saints. This time around, though, it's a little bit of playing from behind. They had to play catch-up for a decent amount of that map right up until 150, and then they were able to power through.
Yeah, granted, you could even call that game a comeback for the Saints. They were down 90 points at one point, I believe was the spot there. And you see 37 kills coming out from both Priestley and I believe that was Bendy there at the bottom of the scoreboard. Both of them just absolutely tearing through, finding a second wind halfway through that game and coming back, taking map 1. We are just going to have to see what these teams pull out in Search now, because very different game mode, right? Very different style of play, but in the end, neither of those teams looking, necessarily better than the other. It was very back and forth, back and forth. Saints just happened to find a really good hold on that last hard point.
Yeah, and think about it this way. U of T hasn't been ranked in the COD power rankings for Canada yet. They are definitely deserving of a spot somewhere up there at the very least, giving St. Clair a decent trouble with that. And this is usually a team that has one nemesis in Northwood, but U of T is saying, you know what? We're a pretty big school. We got some good players there as well. We're going to try and contest you for that as well. But nonetheless, we are going to head to a short break here before we get into map number 2, SND on the docket here. We'll be right back.
Either way, if Saints do end up losing this, we will not be seeing the third match today. That will be moved later on into the week, but Saints still having a rough start.
Gas on the other side, or U of T there on the opposite side. They're looking to try and take advantage of these plays. Nonetheless, Priestley doing a valiant effort sort of holding this point for the time being, doing a really good job of sort of being that veteran presence, being there saying, listen guys, we still got a lot of maps to play here. Let's make sure that we come back here. And a lot of progress being made on this point. Almost the entire point going the way the same. Great turnaround there, and suddenly we can see that there's a streak come through here out to the site. Brandon able to grab a few points there, and the Saints are not too far behind anymore. They've been able to kind of claw back at this one, but U of T finding little advantages on every site. What a team like. I think they're starting to get the rhythm a little bit more. It's just more so the early game that really is coming back to haunt them a little bit here. The Saints keeping UT off the point for the most part, but not really getting much on the point themselves here. Great turn around the corner there from Brandon there. Going to be hopping forward, looking for a little bit more damage here, and is able to find a second one for themselves, and finally they stay closer down to the wire here. We're 80% of the way to getting someone with a victory here, but nonetheless a great resistance put up by the side of the Saints. They're finally able to push back forward. It's almost a team kill coming through, basically at
50-something along those lines, and we are right back in it here at Canadian Esports Nationals. Both of these teams trying their darndest to play that next main bracket, essentially. 2, everybody. Saints leading 1-0. We are back on Embassy here for Search and Destroy, and there's Brandon with that sniper. Something we didn't get to see a lot in that Queens game because they were so happy to go on those flanks, but Brandon finally putting in that work down the middle lane with that sniper and a second one to come through. Brandon already getting so much value out of the sniper in round 1. You have Toronto just not prepared for that long line of sight, and now Saints, they've got eyes on the bomb as well. Saints can pretty well just relax for a little bit. We see Priestley hiding in the bushes here, literally, as Tweak and Huzzy gonna fall. Tweak's able to find Priestley there on the trade, but now Tweak has to make a crazy rotation, has to find this bomb, and has to take out 3 more Saints lying in wait. There's 1 down, only 2 to go. Tweak, keep in mind, this is Call of Duty. I mean, clutches are so possible in COD at all times. Breaks the window, waiting for one of them to shoot it in. Bot shot taken. 20 seconds left on the time. On the time, though, Saints aren't going to be able to play the waiting game. Tweak has to try and peek into them in the end.
That sniper just a little bit too good coming through from Brandon there. You know, took a page out of Priestley's book, who pulled it out in that first series. They're just the tiniest of peaks coming through. Sees that face. Hello, buddy. And you're going to get a bullet to the face there. And great first round coming through from the side of the Saints. I want to see what their switch up is on this attacking side, though, because last time around we saw them go B every single time. You know, that A site wasn't something they were considering. Those smoke grenades were really useful for them as well.
Yeah, I wonder if they're just going to opt for that same kind of smoke off the tenant court. You can already see it. 3 players sending out to that right side. Smoke's not going to drop immediately. Actually, way deeper smokes than we've seen from before. It's actually 2 kills from University of Toronto to kick it off, but Brandon is in a pretty rat spot here, to be fair. Not sure if the side of U of T knows that he's here. Brandon could find a nice kill there, but now, as that player moves away, Brandon's position is revealed. Priestley on this sniper has to be the one to help out Brandon. Plant is going to come down. Will it be good? Yes, it will. E-site now planted on Brandon. Going to fall into the end, and it's up to Priestley in the 1v3. Post plant here, but can't fight that out with the pistol. There's University of Toronto to come back with, right back at the Saints with a defense win.
And sometimes this is what happens on S&D. Just defense is way too strong at that point. You need to try and find that attacking win. We talked about that on the control map between the Saints and Queens as well, where, you know, we just needed that one attacking round to go your way. Of course, this situation a little bit unfortunate for Priestley there with the pistol. Doesn't really have too much of a choice in that situation. Not really going to pull the sniper rifle at close range, let's be real, but
you can't.
Nonetheless, I'm very curious to see how the switch-ups happen in terms of the offense, because we saw a really good defensive half from Brandon specifically there, picking up a 3K for themselves. Are they going to be able to translate that over to another defensive win, or will this strategy start to switch up a little bit here? This time around, actually switching up who's carrying the bomb as well. Kaneki going to be cold in that one.
Yeah, smokes to come out. It seems like U of T has an idea of this setup as well. Kaneki already getting in and possibly going to get that bomb plant down, but Bendy to find him from behind. Going to have to rotate out. It's a second kill as well. Kaneki and Sam down. It's back to Huzzy and Tweak in a 2v4. We saw this again in that first round, and Huzzy was actually able to put a lot of resistance in the end there, but there's the sniper to come through. Brandon is good for 1. Huzzy trading it back.
Yeah, taking a decent amount of damage on the way out. Of course, that will pop back up, but the bomb is already on that B site, effectively in the line of sight. It really just depends on where they want to sort of hold their angles at that. There's so many different angles you have to worry about if you're Huzzy. You have to look at the door, you have to look at the windows, you got to look absolutely everywhere here. Trying to toss some flashbangs down to try and play a little bit of distraction at that, but even then, the shot's coming down the opposite way. Not going to find the kill quite yet. Now Huzzy having to deal with that clock as their, not really their lifeline at this point, sort of to their detriment here. They've got to try and find him, finding a lot of shots down, but not quite finishing that off. And Attack 56 just not quite having enough in the tank to find this kill. It's just dancing around. I think it's Priestley on the opposite side there, just moving around. 5 bullets left, not going to be able to find anything with the pistol either. Another defensive hold.
Yeah, another strong defensive hold from the Saints. It seems like this Embassy map, I mean, just look how many windows and stuff there are to hold, and the second you're down on attack, you have so much to worry about. But in that same vein, once you get the bomb down, now it's flipped, right? It's those defenders that have to start worrying about, okay, which window are they going to be holding this bomb site from? even with the TAC-56, even with that heavier assault rifle in hand, those long-range shots are still hard to land, especially with only an iron sight. I mean, sights have been something in this game, and even in the last few games, that most people don't use, right? A lot of people just forego them. Sight. Oh, okay, so they're going to be actually GA'd, but Priestley and Mendy starting this one off strong, and the bomb plant is going to come down from Brandon as well.
Yeah, already picking up all of the members here. Tweak, the last one left alive, is going to be able to find their one this time around, but nonetheless, going to have to hold some angles. Wow. Great pre-fire, actually, onto Brandon there, who just caught sprinting at that point, but nonetheless, the time is ticking. Got to hold this bomb. It is a 1v2 situation. This is definitely beneficial for the side of Tweak. Just needs to isolate these 1v1s at that, but do they know the angles that are being held? Tweak running down here, and Priestley going to be the one holding that angle once again. Great play coming through from the Saints as they finally pick themselves up an attacking side win here, and we've said it before, this could be that one round that flips the script.
Yeah, and really all it takes for the Saints, I mean, we've seen them get super aggressive at the starting of the round, and numbers advantage in Search is insane, because the second you're able to play 2-on-1 or have someone trade you out in a COD game, it's an insane advantage just because of the sheer time to kill, right? It's so quick. So the second you're able to just drop someone down after a kill comes, you can just keep kind of, you know, piggybacking off of that and keep those kills rolling. We're going to see U of Toronto now. They're really hesitant to start this attack. You see, they drop the smokes and nobody wants to go through. So they know Brandon is going to be ready there with that sniper in hand. The MCPR, I believe, is title there. Relaz, you ran around one player, but you find the bomb carrier now. Not actually going to see Kaneki there on the prone. Kaneki able to find that kill. Not before the bomb goes down. However, Brandon got an idea of where this player's at. There's the pistol to come out. Grabs it. Oh, grabs a Vaznev as well. That is going to be huge for Brandon. He's got the SMG and the sniper in tow now.
And he's got the switch up as well. They're not going to be expecting it. Now Priestley just lurking behind this bomb. Has such a crazy angle. Going to be cosplaying a tree for a little bit here. I believe is spotted out, though, so he needs to try and run. Gets away with 6 health, though. That's going to be just enough. And that bomb site going to be very difficult to hold. Ooh, Brandon missing the timing once again. Like ships in the night. Now they call it out. They know exactly where he is. And that's the power of friendship. Started communication, finishing that one off. One on one side of the map, one on the other. They're caught sprinting the opposite way, and the Saints gonna go up 4-1 here. And this is definitely a stronger performance now coming through from the side of the Saints. They're able to sort of hold their serve a little bit better. What a shot! My goodness, Brandon.
Yeah, and coming off of that, I think we are definitely gonna have to just completely ban the word communication and replace it with friendship in every further cast here, as that is just too good. The power of friendship coming through for the Saints and taking them to a 3-round lead here. You can see the kills racking up for the team as well. It's only Tweak on the other side of U of T who's really up there and positive in kills, and that mostly comes down to the fact that it's been Tweak left in like 1v3s, 1v4s in a lot of these rounds. Priestley can't really spam that one out. No visibility on that player. 1 kill traded back from Relaz, but Brandon, Huzzy, and Kaneki are going to fall right at the starting of this game. Bomb plant is good. Saints back to their aggressive start.
And Tweak, Sam Parmar are going to be the last 2 left alive here. A little bit of a different look. Sam Parmar are going to try and make something happen. The bullets are heard, I believe, from Bendy there, so they know exactly where this person is. They are behind enemy lines. Are they going to be able to find it? Pre-firing is just a little bit too strong. Now a 1v2 situation. Who else but Tweak at this point? Are they going to be able to find their angle in onto these sites? Don't know. It is Relaz and Bendy left alive, so they guessing that there's no sniper rifles there, but you never know with this team. Relaz going to be able to hold the line as well. Spray him down, and that is another attacking side win for St. Clair as they look to sort of finish this one off. 2 break points, so to speak, there for themselves, and now you really just need to hold one more time on defense, which they have been very good at doing.
Yeah, and if Embassy is going to be like the search map for a lot of these teams, I'm not sure who the pick actually came through from this time, but if Embassy is going to be one of the go-to search maps, Saints already have a lock on it. They know exactly where these players are going to be coming from. I think a lot of the blunders from the Saints this game that have given U of T their chances to take these rounds have literally just been players running by each other, right? Without even knowing. And a lot of times that has ended up in Saints' favor. Even if it's gotten Relaz killed a few times, there is going to be a 1-for-1 to start off this round. Brandon gets a little bit of info from the stun popping there.
And I think really sort of trying to sniff out where that bomb is as well. Tweak going to be able to pick that one up for the time being. Maybe going over towards this A site. Look at the timing, though. They're on the same team. I just realized that. But nonetheless, Brandon able to find a kill onto Kaneki. The power of friendship also doesn't work at the broadcast booth sometimes. They're the same color, just noticing that one. But Tweak and Huzzy, they're going to be trying to use their friendship to find themselves a bomb plant here. Going to be very difficult because Brandon and Relaz holding down both of the sites, I believe, here, just holding down as many angles as possible. Look at this roundabout route that Huzzy's taken all the way around the tennis courts there, trying to find any sort of crazy angle to pick him off at. And at where Brandon is, doesn't seem to matter if you try and wrap around. They're holding that angle down pat.
Sometimes you just end up peeking into a sniper, and that's going to happen to Huzzy there. Tweak getting ran on from behind, but Brandon actually not able to finish that one out with the pistol. That's the downside of having that sniper. You only got a pistol as your secondary, but in the end, I believe it was Tweak there at the end for U of T. The timer was running out. He had to make a play, and Relaz is ready there to clean it up. 6-1 for the Saints here in Search. Here's the final kill to come through. Saints now 2-0. Once again, looking for that 3-0 sweep. I mean, at this point, we talk up Saints COD a lot, and they never fail to deliver.
And honestly, I think after that hard point, they just sort of shook off the rust a little bit there. You know, chilly weather, you know, just had to warm up a little bit there, you know, give them a good old 150-point cushion there before they were able to push back at it there. But nonetheless, very much more dominant performance coming through on S&D. And now as we move towards Control, you know, this was something where they were sort of trying to figure it out on Hotel there. This time going to be back to Albagra there. Might be something where they might have a little bit more trouble because we saw that early point and hard point there, how difficult it was for them to sort of get control of some of these sites specifically. Depending on where the sites are on Albagra, that will really sort of turn the tides there. But nonetheless, we're going to head to a short break. Once again, Saints up 2-0 here, looking to put the nail in the coffin here and book their ticket to the playoff bracket. We'll be back right after this break. And welcome back, everyone. Third time's the charm getting into this lobby. Welcome to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, to say the least. Nonetheless, we are on to map 3 here between St. Clair College and University of Toronto. Back onto Albagra here after a very interesting first time around on this map on the hard point specifically. Now onto control. You can already see Saints getting off to a little bit of a better start, getting up that first blood, but nonetheless, still just sort of positioning for the time being. Nothing too crazy thus far, although progress on B going to start off here.
Yeah, contest is to come through. Relaz gonna stay alive in this one, as that's the second tick captured for the Saints there. As well as finding a life lead here. It might not be much for now, but leads can stack up very easily, especially when Relaz and Priestley are on their shots like this. That's 3 taken down from U of T, as St. Clair gonna secure that B point and keep the pressure going. Super aggressive on this attacking side. Brandon gonna fall, and that's not the tick to be secured. Priestley fallen after finding one of his own, and now 2 minutes on the clock for the Saints. They are going to be nice and pretty comfortable coming into this next one. They've got time to work with. The rest of the team just going to have to get back up, regroup, and rearm. It's Call of Duty, so it actually works when I say it this time. Priestley fighting that window battle there, but it's Brandon and Relaz to clean that one out. Priestley not going to be looking the right way there. Kaneki as he drops down, and this is Bendy about to secure this third pick. And Saints going to take almost one of the fastest control rounds we've seen in a long time. But U of T, there's the resistance to come through.
Not onto Relaz, apparently 11-0. He just absolutely bing-chilling in this one thus far. Gonna get effectively a team kill all by himself there. 13-0 for himself. He's gonna try and hide out for the time being, have the homies cover him for the time being, and oh my goodness, what a first round coming through for Relaz there. What did we just watch?
I don't know. With such a long break, you would think the Saints got a little bit cold, right? I
mean, both teams, realistically.
Both teams, yeah, honestly. But we sat in those lobbies trying to get into this game for about, I don't want to say 20 minutes there, but Saints not really taking any slow down in terms of momentum and starting off as aggressive on that control as we saw them in Search and Destroy, and taking a super dominant attacking round, converting on to the defense now, which is, you know, usually the easier side on control, but you never know with a new game like this, especially a new map. We haven't seen this map on control thus far. We don't know really what are the easy points to capture. Are most teams going to opt for A first? Are most teams going to opt for B first? It's gonna take time to get those things figured out. Relaz holding that angle, able to make it out. A little bit scathed, but gonna make it away with his life. And now these rooms are just almost campy in a sense, but at the same time, you know, they're gonna be able to make it out of there and just kind of play control on these points as the game mode is named. And Priestley gonna fall as U of T starts making their move on this first point on B, but it's not gonna be there in time.
And Relaz is still alive, 15-0, the only person in double digits in the entire lobby by a long shot at that. Relaz finally going to get cut down. Caster curses are real at that, but nonetheless, look at this. Brandon just chilling on the roof. Ooh, a nice little turnaround as the trade comes through, but nonetheless, there's not a whole lot of progress being made on any of these points. Finally hiding out in this truck is going to be Sam Parmar there, trying to make some progress on this A-tick. You've got to expect them to be sitting in that truck. It's so safe in there, it feels, but nonetheless, shot's going to come through, and at the very least, they're getting a couple of touches here to keep that contested. And if you look at the lives, they're just a slight lead in favor of the Saints, though. It is not much, and as we say that, it evens out.
Yeah, Relaz trying to take one down with him, but that Semtex is going to pop first before he can get on that angle, and now it's Saints. Much slower time on this defense side. Maybe this map's a little attack-sided. We've seen both these teams get pretty close to these ticks, and the time is ticking away. Saints with a little bit of a life lead as well. You know, a lot of that coming off the back of Relaz, but, you know, Relaz only found actually 5 kills in this round.
Only, yeah.
Yeah, only, I say, but coming through in this one, it's actually going to be the rest of the team to, you know, even out the kills a little bit more. Not going to put it all on Relaz back, but as the time falls, U of T cannot make it onto that point in time. That's round 2 for St. Clair College. They're going to be finding themselves back on attack just a few moments after this swap, and let's see. Yeah, U of T now in reverse sweep position in the control game and in reverse sweep position in the series, and St. Clair Saints just showing us why they're one of these, dominant COD teams, why there's only a few schools that can really beat them in this game, because even when a whole new game comes out, in the end, they continue that dominance, and right now 2-0 does not look like it's going to be stopping, as Priestley and Bendy going to get off to a hot start on this one, and B point is already being captured.
Yeah, Relaz going to be the one holding down the fort there for the time being. This is a site that, U of T didn't really get any chance to contest at all here. Bendy on that site going to be able to find another kill for himself. Bendy on a 5-killing streak to start off this round here. Everyone is contributing from the side of the Saints at all times. 3 members on it. They're sprinting through this first part of the game, and thus it is just A site as the last little bit for the side of University of Toronto. They need to hold the line here, but they've got to hold it for 2 minutes and 9 seconds right now. This is going to be incredibly difficult at the very least.
Yeah, and I mean, while the Saints are up this much on lives, you see the kill feed there, 7 lives up as well. They've got control on this A site now, and no stopping for them as it's 1 player in this truck. A couple others here. You see Relaz in this museum area, and the kills are just coming through. That's a full team wipe and a tick at A. Relaz is able to just chill here, watch the spawns. These spawns are absolutely brutal for this defending side. Finally, Relaz is going to fall. A few kills come back, but Brandon holding down this point with his trusty Hurricane there, and that is going to be round 3 secured. St. Clair taking a long break in between that game, but coming out strong nonetheless, and the momentum did not stop. That's the 3-0 sweep in control and in the series.
Yeah, and I think just as this series went on, they were able to scale quicker and quicker and quicker to speed up that sort of end game scenario. Relazed 22-4. I have words to say about that I'm not allowed to say on broadcast, to say the least. What was that, 821 damage per live or something? Or per round, yeah. Insane performance coming through from Relaz there, just to finish this one out, and after a couple of tech difficulties coming through with Modern Warfare 2, we are able to get that series done, and just a perfect day coming through from the side of the Saints.
Yeah, and I mean, as we're wrapping things up here, given that it was the first time we got to see MW2 on stream, I mean, thoughts on the game, Adam? It's pretty interesting. Some of these new maps, definitely a very big difference from Vanguard. Vanguard, you talked about the movements when we were playing that first series against Queens, and now coming into this series, we got to see a few more maps. We got to see Albegra actually come through. It was in the map pool in that Queens game, but Saints being Saints, they took a 3-0 once again on that one, and double 3-0 sweeps coming through tonight for the Saints as well.
Yeah, and honestly, just well played to the Saints for sort of holding the line, making it through sort of the technical difficulties and everything that we got. I mean, we had, 3 misfires throughout the entire series, which honestly, given it's a new game and given that we're not really sure how to fix a lot of them, not the worst case scenario, but overall, really nice, like to see some of the different varieties of weaponry. It's not always the same 2 guns going at it over and over again. We got to see the sniper come out. We got to see the combat knife get used a little bit. So overall, it brings a little bit more diversity, and it makes it a little bit more fun for someone who doesn't play COD to sort of cast as well, because you have to look at it and you're like, hey, there's something a little bit different. There's some different strategies coming through. Granted, very early on into the meta, I'm sure that as time goes on, as patches come through, we may get a little bit more of an established meta, but nonetheless, regardless of what the meta is, the Saints seem to have that on lock.
Yeah, seem to have it on lock, but yeah, just that diversity of guns was great to see. We saw Brandon, I think he was the only player who actually pulled out the Hurricane, but it's a good SMG in its own right, and it kind of is a very good in-between between SMG and AR. At the same time, we got to see 2 different ARs as well, the M4 and the TAC-50. And coming off of Vanguard, where that meta was so established, right? We would see the same guns, the same 3 guns. We saw the 1 pistol, we saw 1 SMG, we saw 1 sniper, and 1 AR, and that was it. So coming into this one, it's nice. Fresh game, fresh coat of paint, and some fresh guns to say the least. But that is going to be all for tonight. You want to close us out, Adam?
Yeah, thank you all so much for joining us once again. Thank you to Ryan and Dan for holding down the fort on the production side. Thank you to Fundy, of course, for being my co-caster, walking me through COD here. Nonetheless, we do have more broadcasts to you as time goes on this week. Tomorrow night, I believe we have a League of Legends game scheduled. It's going to be a little bit of a later one, going up against Alberta there. Friday is still to be determined, but of course, we're all looking forward to Sunday, where we get to Nationals finals. Of course, all that news will come out as time goes on, but nonetheless, thank you all so much for joining us. Have yourselves a wonderful evening. Sue going to be able to pick up first blood, and it means attack first going to be able to get that point.
Usually would get in for this plan, but that's 1-for-1 now. Thanks to Bendy on this corner, he spots one more out. They're not facing the right way, and that's going to be Lucid to fall as well. 25 seconds left in this one. Relaz, what a shot. That's the TAC 56 coming through in the end. The bomb gonna be a just down to Jen here. Doesn't really have much to play with. He's been spotted out now. There's multiple angles the Saints could be coming out from. It looks like he's got an idea on one of them. He's got the drop on him, but it's a knife kill to come through at the end. That's gonna be Saints taking round 2 there. We've got Alpha and Bravo now because the name can't seem to decide which side they want to be on, but there it is. Final kill with that combat knife, and it's Brandon's
a little bit of a dive coming through, trying to get onto this side. All of these smokes, all the grenades just coming out all at once, and Relaz down to 17 health in the back off for the time being. Look at this angle from Bendy. Around the side, there's 1, there's 2 coming through from Bendy. And already a 2 boy.
Relaz not ready for the player behind him. Narcissus picking up 2 this round and absolutely tearing through the Saint. Brandon can't shoot it out in the end. Second round going back to Queen. The Queens finding their momentum here after truly a rough first 4 rounds. Every here, bomb is down. They're playing on the defense, so it's the Queens who have to really make it here. Maxes that bomb planter, drops him down, drops another one now down a 1. And so shots again. Now having to rotate around. The combat knife is very effective in the speed at which these players can go around the map. Brandon with the knife to end the round. I mean, great control. Saints on the verge of the 3-0. We haven't seen a knife fight to start it off. Both players caught with
real quick coming through the Saints, but yeah, they're going to try and put a little bit more of an effort now as we go down to 30 seconds. They need to try and get some touches on this point, stall that time a little bit more. But Queen's just all over this point. Narcissus on a 5K going down. Able to get that first hit, but nonetheless, trying to control the site. Maybe they're just gandering that this might be the easier site to control compared to A, because the last time around, stuck B. My goodness, Priestley able to get.
And as the time ticks down, Queens might have to drop this round. Priestley grabs 2 before being out. 0.1 seconds on the clock. There's only 1 player on this A site. Relaz gonna flip around, trying to find him on a different angle there. There's another kill to come through from Relaz, but Bendy and Relaz taking down.
Yeah, a little bit of progress being made. At least they're stalling it out for the time being. But their lives are starting to dwindle as well. 19-7, that is a significant advantage. Does not matter. The 0.1 seconds will tick down. Need to push forward now. They do not have any time left to play around. But even still, Brandon going forward. A huge jumping knife kill to finish that. Yeah, so UT there on the opposite side. They're looking to try and take advantage of these plays. Nonetheless, Priestley doing a valiant effort sort of holding this point for the time being. Doing a really good job of sort of being that veteran presence. Being there saying, listen guys, we still got a lot of maps to play here. Let's make sure that we come back here. And a lot of progress being made on this point. Almost the entire point going the way of the Saints. Great turnaround there. And suddenly we can see that there's a straight come through the site. Brandon able to grab them. It's there. The Saints are not too far behind anymore. They've been able to kind of walk back into this one, but finding little advantages on every site. What team like? I think they're starting to get the rhythm a little bit more. It's just more so the early game that really is coming back to haunt them a little bit here. The Saints keeping UT off the point for the most part, but not really getting much on the point themselves here. Great turn around the corner there from Brandon there. Going to be popping forward, looking for a little bit more damage here. Is able to find a second one for themselves, and finally the Saints closer down to the wire here. We're 80% of the way to getting someone with a victory here, but nonetheless a great resistance put up by the side of the Saints. They're finally able to push back forward. It's almost a team kill coming through. Basically a 250 something along those lines, and we are right back in it here at Canadian Esports Nationals. Both of these teams trying their darndest. We're just a little bit too good coming through from Brandon there. Check out Painted the Priestley's look to pull it out in that first series. They're just the tiniest of peaks coming through. There with that sniper and MCR. There, Relaz. You ran around 1 player, but you find the bomb carrier now. Not actually going to see Kaneki there on the front. Call it out. They know exactly where he is, and that's the power of friendship. Sort of communication, finishing that one off. One on one side of the map, one on the other. They're caught sprinting the opposite way, and the Saints going to go up 4-1 here. And this is definitely a stronger performance now coming through from the side of the Saints. They're able to sort of hold their serve a little bit better. What a shot! My goodness, Brandon. Yeah, it's sort of crazy angle to pick him off at. And where Brandon is, doesn't even matter if you try and wrap around. They're holding that angle down.
Sometimes you just end up peeking into a sniper, and that's going to happen to Huzzy there. Getting ran on from behind, but Brandon actually not able to finish that one out with the pistol. That's the downside of having that sniper. You've only got a pistol as your secondary, but in the end, I believe it was Tweak there at the end for fighting that window battle there, but it's Brandon and Relaz to clean that one out. Grizzly not going to be looking to the right way there. Kaneki as he drops down, and this is Bendy about to secure this third pick, and Saint going to take almost one of the fastest control rounds we've seen in a long time. But UFP, there's the resistance to come through.
Not onto Relaz, apparently 11-0. He just absolutely chilling in this one thus far. Gonna get effectively at University of Toronto. They need to hold the line here, but they've got to hold it for 2 minutes and 9 seconds right now. This is gonna be incredibly difficult, at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, while the Saints are up this much on lives, you see the kill feed there. 7 lives up as well. They've got control on this A site now, and no stopping for them as one player in this truck. A couple others here. You see Relaz in this museum area, and the kills are just coming through. That's a full...
So you're going to be able to pick up first blood, and